Good morning, Performance Psych. Let's go ahead and get started for today. Today is Tuesday, even though I'm actually recording on Monday, so I'm time jumping. But let's go ahead and get started. We have a great lecture today. I'm going to get through 10 slides, about a 20-minute lecture for you total. So let's go ahead and talk about where we're headed this week. All right, so this is quarantine week 3, and we're going to jump in here. I have a super fun activity for you for your participation points. Have to say that this was not my own creativity. This was the influence and inspired by a former student of mine. And so hopefully you'll have fun with this one. Again, our participation points are for the week. So kind of changing this up. We're not going to do our bell ringers in our journal. I'll probably have you submit your bell ringers at some point. Hold off on that. Let me try and figure out how we're going to do that. But we're going to move to a weekly participation just because it's going to be a lot easier. And that way you're not trying to do something on a daily basis when we meet Tuesdays and Thursdays. Okay. We're going to be talking about strategies, okay? Basically, students are going to be exposed to positive sensory-oriented strategies. So this is probably why you signed up for this class, and this is the unit that's going to give it to you. Hopefully, the first 2 units, though, have been majorly beneficial, and from all the feedback you guys have given me, the wonderful discussions that we've had, I can see it's been beneficial, but this is probably the reason you signed up for performance psychology, these lectures that we're going to be doing the next couple of classes. So I'm going to have you view the lectures, take notes, and then we're going to have a Q&A discussion thread. Nothing too intense. It's more of a ask me questions about how you would implement these things. Okay. Again, our Did You Know and our quotes of the week from compiled from your guys's Unit 2 reflection, and also our inspiration memes, which we do have inspiration memes. Some of you guys are forgetting those. This week's inspiration memes, I wish I could remember exactly who it was, but I will also get that up on the screen. Sorry about that. I forgot to do that. So remember, the next 2 inspiration memes, you only need to respond once. Same as always. All right, let's go ahead and get this party rolling. So let's talk about strategies. So the key to performance is we all want to reach that zone where we're playing unconscious. We're just feeling the flow, that, everything's just working. Everybody wants to achieve that within their games. And we know that we've seen that that's not always going to happen, that we have to be reliant on our B game. But every once in a while, we're going to hit that A game, and we want it to be more often than not. Well, the way that we hit that A game, this is the theory that kind of runs performance psychology. This is the inverted U, optimum performance level theory of the way to do that. To find that zone is to control your anxiety levels, your arousal levels, or your stress levels. In order to achieve that performance, happiness, and health, that level that you want to achieve. So as you can see here, if we don't have enough arousal, if we're not stressed enough, then our performance is low. These are people that just can't get hyped up. They're bored. They don't enjoy what they're doing. Versus, this is the more common type of person, the person that is overhyped, that's over anxious, can't sleep the night before a performance or competition, has that overwhelming sense of, to the point maybe physiologically causing them to be almost disabled, wanting to throw up, wanting to not do this, even though they've worked for whatever the performance may be forever. What we want to do is get a performer, an athlete, in the zone. And this is the optimal stress level or optimal arousal level to achieve optimal performance. So that is the goal. Now, how you go about doing that, that's the intricacies of performance psychology. So we can simplify performance psychology to this theory right here, but there are so many variables that you have to consider when trying to achieve the zone, to achieve flow. And so I'm going to present to you all kinds of different strategies in order to maybe help control some of those variables, to put you in control as opposed to letting things that you are not conscious of that are taking control of you. Okay, so we're going to talk about strategies. These strategies are what we call positive sensory oriented strategies. These are strategies where we're going to use what we call positive psychology. A guy by the name of Martin Seligman came up with this whole area of psychology called positive psychology to work within ourselves to put us in that right state of mind, the growth mindset. So Carol Dweck was actually a student of Martin Seligman. And she then added on to his theory. So we're going to talk about positive sensory oriented strategies. These strategies allow us to realize that our mind is much stronger than our body, and that we need to take that control and set no limits for ourselves. If you don't see yourself succeeding or don't feel deserving, you will sabotage your own success. If your mind is not in a great state of mind, you will sabotage your own success. So we have to start seeing our success. And the way that we can do that is by implementing some of these strategies. And I am going to say some of. If you try to implement every single strategy at once, you're going to implement none of them well. We call it kind of like being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You want to take one or two strategies at a time and learn how to master those strategies. Then you can move on to the next strategy. So my job will be to kind of present you with some of these strategies to put you into that learning zone. I love this graphic. It shows us how we can move from our comfort zones to our fear zones, to our learning zones, to our growth zones. And so my job will be to teach you some of these strategies that'll put you into these learning zones, okay? To put you into these growth zones. After you become a master of a strategy and it becomes just who you are, then you move on to maybe another strategy, or maybe you do two strategies and become a master of those, and then move on to another strategy. So these are the strategies we're going to talk about. We are not talking about all of them in one day. We're going to talk about 3 of them today. And we will do the next 3 or so in our next lecture series. So this is a lecture series that will take a couple of classes. So let's start. Student of the game. I think one of the biggest variables that we can control is be a student of our craft. If it truly is your passion, you're going to be a student of that craft. And I love this saying, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you're in that fixed mindset, no one can help you. But if you're determined to learn, no one can stop you. If you're willing to do everything it takes, and you're willing to listen to advice of those that are in the know, that are not necessarily experts in their field, but willing to help you out. Sorry, I'm going to shift this because there's a weird glare. Then you are in that growth mindset. You're in that growth zone. Okay. So people who resist change only stay in their comfort zone, and playing it safe only inhibits your chances to be the best you. Step out of those comfort zones. Okay. Keeping that in mind. So the first thing I would say is, for those of you that have your craft, whatever that may be, you need to watch the game, okay? So I've chosen a game here that's obviously something that's a little biased here. I've chosen a Michigan game during March Madness, I think in 2018. But anyway, one thing I notice a lot of people will do is they watch the game or watch their craft, watch whatever that is that they do, but they watch it maybe at a level that isn't necessarily going to help them. Here's what I mean by that. If you're a basketball player, case in point, watching the NBA is great. That's awesome. But they're at a completely different level. Remember, taking too many steps at once. I loved Kylie's quote. Taking too many steps at once is going to cause you to fail. So watch the next level. Great. Watch NBA. Watch your favorite teams. But watch the next level. Watch the college level. By watching the college level here for a particular sport like basketball, I'm going to see the fundamentals, and I'm going to see the fundamentals performed at the best level that I can see it. They may not be dunking the ball every couple of times down the court, and that's not as exciting, but I'm going to see great fundamentals of the game if I am a student of the game. For performers, my thespians, go watch a college play. See that. It's one thing to watch the professional actors and actresses, but it's another thing to watch those that are in that next step. For my speech and debaters, there are plenty of people on YouTube posting their crafts. Watch those things. When you're at a competition, go sit down and watch other people perform. Okay, that's going to help you to learn your craft. When we watch other people do their craft, we learn. And sometimes we learn what not to do. That's also very important. But watch your game. Be a student of your game. All right, I'm going to move this on. Supposedly, this is a great game. Mr. Dupree was super excited that I was showing it. The last 3 minutes are, I guess, the key. So if you really wanted to watch it, it's there for you. I will put this lecture series into our Schoology, so you have that. All right. Don't just watch the game. Watch your game. Film yourself. Okay. I hate being filmed when I teach. I hate it. But it does help me to learn and get rid of some bad habits, maybe, things to grow on, things that I do right. Watch your game and watch for not just the things you're doing wrong. Watch for the things you did good. Be able to sit there and tell yourself, that was good. That's something I need to work on. So this is footage of one of my favorite basketball players. This is Diana Taurasi. She plays in the WNBA. When you watch yourself and watch your game film, you need to be honest with yourself, but also increase that self-efficacy. If I'm watching here, and I'm watching some game film of myself, and I do a great move that possibly was a luck shot, okay, I can say to myself, yeah, but I do that all the time. I throw things up when I know things aren't going perfectly because I'm never going to give up, but I do that. So that's practice. Increase that self-efficacy. Watch yourself. Record yourself doing a speech. Record yourself giving a speech to your class even, okay? Then you can grow from that stuff. I know it's not always easy to do that because you don't like watching yourself or looking at yourself or hearing your voice, but it will help you grow, and that's that growth mindset. Let's go next to watch your team. A lot of people watch themselves, and then they forget to watch their team. So oftentimes I tell my students, game film is about watching what you can do better, and then maybe you're watching a little bit of that game film again to watch what your team does. I can sit there and just watch myself. Oh, there Mariah shot an air ball. But now watch. Mariah sticks with it. She gets it back to her point guard. Point guard sees the floor, knocks it down. Marielle knocks it down for the 3. And now I can go to my teammates and be like, dude, that was so awesome. You kept your composure. You didn't rerun the play. You just saw Marielle in the corner and you hit her for the 3. That was awesome. What's that do to your teammates' efficacy? Watch your team play. Don't just watch yourself. If your coaches don't have game film for you to watch, ask. Ask them. Maybe they just don't have the technology or don't know how to use the technology. It's super easy nowadays. Get those recordings for you, for your team. Be a student of your game. This game footage is of my team in the second round of the state playoffs. We played Thomas Jefferson. Love watching this game footage because they played so as a team. And it was one thing that I made sure that they saw, that I don't want you watching just yourself. I want you to watch how you play as a team here. And that's so important. That builds the team's self-efficacy, not just your self-efficacy. So we'll let Bernsey make a great little pass here and the layup. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next slide. So, student of the game. Strategy number 2, visualization. Okay. Visualization is one of those strategies that many coaches use because it's one of the first strategies that performance psychologists kind of realized has good correlation to production. So imagine your game. If, again, I go back to something I know, if you are trying to increase your free throw percentage, imagine take 2, 3 shots, 5 shots before you go to sleep every night. Those shots going in. Your brain does not know the difference of what happens in reality versus what happens in a dream, daydream or night dream. Okay. That's why you'll wake up sometimes and you'll be like, did I dream that? Or did that actually happen? Okay. Because your brain doesn't know the difference. So the more we visualize what we do in our practices, the more we become prepared to do it. Our brain feels like, I haven't just shot 50 free throws this week. I shot 100 because I did it in my brain also. You will make every shot that you take in your brain. Okay. I did have an athlete one time be like, Coach, I'm visualizing and I miss. Be stronger. Mind over matter. That's so key. Okay. Don't imagine failing. Plan how to respond to a difficult situation. If I imagine all my free throw shots, that's great. But also, there's something to be said for the kids that are out on the playground that are, pretending that it's the last 5 seconds of the game and I'm going to take the game-winning shot. I get the pass and I shoot and it's in. Okay, there's something to be said for that too. Okay, so practice the difficult situation, practice it so that you experience that success. And then when you're in the game and you have to do that, your brain's like, I've been there, done there. I've been there, done that. And it decreases your anxiety to do it. Okay. We watched a great movie last night. If you have a chance to watch it, it's one of those movies that Amazon Prime is selling. It would normally be in theaters right now. The Way Back, perfect example. The main character, the basketball player main character, he does a great job of keeping that confidence. Number 3, body language. Okay. This is one that's not talked about because it's super simple. Coaches will be like, watch your body language, say things like that, but there are studies behind this. Okay. Your body language tells so very much. Why don't you just look at this picture? You can tell what happened here. You don't even need the backstory. You know exactly what happened here. Either this is the end of the game or this was a very close game and somebody missed a goal. You can see it. We know what this means, okay, without knowing the studies. So let me tell you the studies about this, all right? When humans put their hands on their head, coil up, do things like this, they are experiencing a lack of self-efficacy. They're disappointed, okay? Let me show you this article here. So it's an article about why does every soccer player do this? It's not every soccer player. It's every person, okay? These body emotions, I guess I should say, these body emotions that I'm showing you here, these are body emotions of defeat. And if we're in the middle of a game and I see my teammates do that, I know I've just disappointed my teammates. If I'm doing that, my teammates know I'm now in possibly a negative spin downwards. So these types of body movements we have studied, and universally in every country, they mean the exact same thing. Resignation, disappointment, feelings of unsuccessfulness, low self-efficacy, okay? As opposed to this right here. So this is Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt does these types of things when he is victorious, okay? He'll also do his personal little Usain Bolt thing. Here's what we know. When psychologists studied this, there is a correlation that is really high that most people, when they feel victorious, are going to get really big and wide. Okay, they're going to spread their arms and be all excited. It's a ridiculously high correlation. Okay, for those of you that have taken DE psychology, it's like in the 0.9 positive correlation. So is this when people are disappointed. Okay, they did this study with blind people, people who had been blind for their entire life. So they've never seen anybody be victorious like this or do this, okay, in resignation. So they did this study. They had these blind people do a task. And when they did it correctly, you know what the blind people did? They did this. And when they did it incorrectly, they did this. Okay? So our body language tells us how to feel. All right? So if we're doing this, you know what we do? We release hormones that help us get excited, neurotransmitters that make us feel good. And when we do this, we release hormones that disappoint us and neurotransmitters that don't make us feel good. So the minute we do this on the court, on the field, on the stage, the minute we do this, we let ourselves feel that. Okay, we're out of control and we can now spiral, because if I still have more of the game to play or more of the performance to give, I don't have that physiological confidence, much less the psychological confidence. If I'm doing this though, I'm going to amp up my performance. I'm going to have the self-efficacy I need to continue. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that our teammates, ourselves, we're in control of our body language. The minute we catch ourselves doing this, let go. Go find a teammate to high five. Make connection. Okay? Let yourself stretch out. Okay? Instead of doing this, get yourself strong. Stand up straight. I've told you guys this before. I looked for the girl that in the fourth quarter was bending down, was exhausted. I'd attack the ball to her because I knew she was not mentally 100% there. All right. So body language, it tells a lot. And you need to make sure that you and your teammates are not doing a body language that is going to send you into spiraling. Okay. So this is I love this little picture. It's got the fox with a bunch of these hound dogs, and he's faking it till he makes it. I'm going to put a link into Schoology for you to watch a TED Talk. It's a TED Talk by a lady named Amy Cuddy. She is a psychologist, and she did this really cool study exactly about what we're talking about, and that is what your body language does and how it affects your psyche. So I want you to watch that. It's one of my top 5 favorite TED Talks. I think it's up there with Adam Kreck's, TED Talk about seeking failure. So definitely give that a watch. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you're always going to succeed, but believing in yourself can help put yourself in a position to succeed. And I love that quote. Okay. So, and you don't know what's going to happen today, so why not act as if you're going to have a good day? Get you in that right mindset. Well, that's it, guys. I'll have the Amy Cuddy video in there for you. I will put this lecture slides in Schoology for you so you can review them on your own. And we'll stop right there. And next class, we'll visit our next few strategies. So if you go into Schoology, you go into Tuesday, you will see that Schoology has been a little bit temperamental, so I may not be able to get into it, but you will see the slides, you will see the Amy Cuddy video, and then your assignment. Your assignment is to post for me a question, okay, your thoughts about our lecture. So got it. I got it to work. Oh, of course not. But I'm asking you to put into our discussion thread one question maximum of 2, because I am going to answer your questions. So as you watched this video, maybe you thought about, well, how do I do it for this particular situation? Or what do I do if? So ask those questions in our discussion, and that is going to get you your points for your participation for this particular lecture. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. So it says, what questions do you have after viewing the lecture? What thoughts went through your mind? And what questions do you have about the strategy or its implementation? Write 1 question minimum, 2 questions maximum. And with that said, guys, that's the end of this lecture. We will hit more of the strategies to come on Thursday. Hope you're doing well and have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll talk to you guys later.